turning radius is honestly pretty good. So torquey. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing a Ram 2500 Rebel, or rather the all-new Ram 2500 Rebel. Before we get in this video though, a huge shout out and link to the Dodge Ram here in Sandy, Utah for maybe some time with this truck. This one is available for sale for the time being, so if you're interested, I'll include a link to their inventory in the description down below. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. And if you want to have a good time on YouTube, type in Ben Hardy Ram 2500 Rebel off-road if you want to see me take one of these trucks off-road and poop myself basically. Anyways, let's get into the video. Under the hood of the Rebel is the 6.7 liter Cummins diesel that goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission known as a 68 RFE. Now, since this is a 2500, you can only get the standard output, which is 370 horsepower and then 850 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So first and foremost, we got the cab lights there at the top of the Rebel, and then we have the cool new heavy-duty hood venting, as you can see, and I love the green paint on this one. We've got the headlights here from the upgraded Power Wagon, and then you guys can see we've got the grille from the Power Wagon as well, with the camera there at the bottom of the A. We've got the tow hooks here at the very bottom, and then parking sensors there in the front, and then you guys can see the fog lights on either side. I do find this aerodynamic chin guard very interesting on an off-road packaged truck. Putting it all together though, I will say, I think it looks great. Come around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 285/60/20 in the front and over in the rear as well. And then you guys can see with the wheels, you got the black there in the center with the silver ring on the outside. And although this setup is great, I wish that Ram would have offered this with 35s from the factory. Now up front, you guys can see the off-road shock in blue, and then just like other 2500s, it does have a solid front axle. Really cool fender flare here, you guys can see with the Cummins badge there. We got the Ram badge as well. New style trailer mirrors, and then notice at the bottom here how it's two-tone. And would you look at that, another off-road shock, and then we do have multi-link in the back solid rear axle. I just trudged through the snow so that you guys can see this. Look at that side view. So here's a key fob for the Rebel. We have our unlock function, our lock function, remote start, and then the drop down for the tailgate with our Ram logo. And I guess it doesn't want to drop down today. Ah, it was delayed. It like randomly fell down as soon as I walked up. Anyways, we've got over 1,700 pounds of payload capacity, and you can see that, well, some of that is used up with this snow. We've got an outlet here in the bed, then we've got bed liner as well, which also is a nice thing to have. And then picking up the tailgate, it's actually very light. You guys can see all of our badges here on the back end, and then look at the tail lights with the black center there. And then you guys can see the exhaust tip sticking out the back. Parking sensors here on the rear with the receiver hitch there in the center. And by the way, towing capacity is right in that like 16-ish thousand pound range. And putting it all together, it basically looks like a Power Wagon, but it has a diesel. Now popping inside and looking at the door panel, you guys can see all of the leather trim here, and then look at the blacked out trim as well. Looks absolutely fantastic. And then taking a look at the seats, really nice leather seats, again perforated all down the center portion. Look at all the piping, and then we've got the under seat storage as well as some ice buckets. Legroom here in the back's pretty good. This is the crew cab configuration. You guys can see we've got a little storage pocket, cup holders here, and then we've got the vents down below with our USBs, some heated seats, and we've got a full outlet. Headroom back here is also great. And would you look at that? We got a cup holder armrest. So taking a look at the front door panel, really nice leather trim just like the back. As you can see, I think it looks great. All of our window controls here, front two are automatic. The mirrors do power fold in. We got memory seat functionality. And then we got a bunch of controls with the mirrors. These two side controls are for the lights. This is for the mirror extension function. So you guys can see I can extend it out. We do have blind spot monitoring with the mirrors as well. And then that last little thing right there, that is just to adjust the convex mirror. And then taking a look at the seats, really nice. Notice the Rebel logo, and then you can see perforated all down the center. And then we do have our power adjustments here on the side as well. And then we've got this for the outlet there in the bed. We've got our light controls here, notice for the fog lights and then the cargo light. And then the steering wheel is manually adjustable, and then the pedals are power adjustable. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, we've got really nice leather trim all around. Notice it's perforated here on the sides, you can get a slightly better grip. Radio controls are on the back of the steering wheel. We've got our gear limiter here with our cruise control, controls for the center stack, phone controls as well. And then we have our turn signal windshield wiper stock, and we've got a column shifter with some nice leather trim. And now taking a look at the center gauge cluster itself, first off, notice that I can completely change the look of the view. So right now we have analog, I can go over to digital as well, but when you pull up the different menus, it fully changes. And then the last cool thing is going to be the navigation, so it pulls up with a map view. And then obviously this is an off-road truck, so you can see the off-road stuff as well with the center screen. Now taking a look at the camera system, you guys can see we've got a rear view camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. We got our bird's eye view as well, and tons of different angles. I mean, look at that for the front angle, which I mean, this is definitely needed with a heavy-duty truck, especially an off-road heavy-duty truck. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, first off, at the bottom here, you guys can see the little shortcut bar that basically just lets you go into different menus. Pretty easy to use. And then you notice this does come with heated and ventilated seats, dual zone climate as well. And then we've got the off-road pages with this, which you guys can see all the stuff that shows. I love this little shortcut there for the forward-facing camera, but really easy to use infotainment system. Now, flanking either side of the infotainment system, you guys can see the analog climate controls, radio controls as well. And then at the top of it, we got a little 12 volt there. You guys can see the black trim. And then look at the leather on the dash. Really high quality Harman Kardon sound system as well. And then here at the bottom, we've got 6 auxiliary switches, so there's lots of items you can add. You've got your tow haul mode, you've got your diesel exhaust brake, parking sensors, and then your trailer brake controls integrated from the factory. Now popping over here, we got our driveline select. So we've got our 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel high, 4-wheel low, your true neutral, your hill descent control, and then we have our axle lock as well. So you can only lock the rear differential. This doesn't have a front locker or a sway bar disconnect like the Power Wagon. Now taking a look at the center console here, you guys can see the Rebel logo here, and then nicely felt lines, got a USB there, got the measuring charts, and then this does have the sliding center console here. And then notice we got all of our USB ports, we got some storage here, and a full power outlet as well. Now taking a look at the glove box, notice it says Rebel on it. Yet again, lots of Rebel logos here. But you got some nice storage space there, and then you got the other glove box down below, and then look at, yeah, all of the leather trim. I think it looks fantastic. Now up top we do have a power sliding rear window there, and then you guys can see all black headliner. So here's a window sticker for this Rebel. You guys can see the base MSRP $68,425 and olive green pearl coat exterior. That's this cool green paint job. Anyways, after all options, and I guess there's a credit for $1,000 for the customer preferred package 2HR. Interesting. Anyways, after all options and credits, $91,900 is the total MSRP on this mean green off-roading machine. Let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Both of the mirrors just do a blind spot monitoring, and then throughout the rest of the rear. And weird, these ones are on too. Is there something open? Okay, I give up. I don't know why the lights are on. There's nothing, the door. Yeah, the door's nothing's open. That's so weird. Okay, anyways, awkward start to our review. We are driving the Ram Rebel. And you guys know that I lived with this for a week if you follow the channel. Not this specific one, but a pre-production truck. And so, you know, I'll kind of talk about my experience with the truck after living with it for a week a little bit in this review. But initially setting off, I love how this drives. The Ram 2500 drives really well because you got the multi-link setup in the back, so it helps with smoothing things out, despite the fact that this has solid front and rear axles, which obviously make it so it kind of bounces around a little bit more. And on top of that, I guess we're slowing down for this, looks like a Warlock. Seat comfort's really good. This has the limited interior. You can get other interiors with this, like you can get like the Laramie interior, for example, but I guess if you want the fully loaded luxury interior, then you got to go this route. And it's interesting that both the Rebels that I've reviewed, the pre-production version and this one, are both the limited interior. So looks like, I guess that's what Ram thinks people want. Steering's pretty good on this. There's a little bit of vagueness, but it's honestly not bad at all. tons of torque out of the engine. That's one of the big things that I really like about this Cummins. And, you know, although this doesn't have as much power as the high output, it's still very powerful. Kind of squeezed by this Prius. Hey, buddy. That's tight. Look at that. That is tight if I've ever seen it. And turning radius is honestly pretty good. So torquey. Man, it snowed a lot over here. I thought it snowed a lot where I live, but I feel like over here in Sandy Draper area, I feel like they got hit even harder. There's just so much snow all over the sidewalks. It's piled up quite a bit here. Now, something to mention, you can always just hear like the diesel rumbling in the background. While we wait, I'll quickly tell you guys my experience living with this. Got pretty good fuel economy with the truck. It was like, I think mid-teens roughly in terms of what I averaged. I thought it was a great daily driver, frankly, for a diesel truck, like very comfortable on the highway. Passing power was fine. All of that was good. Now, when it comes to the off-roading side of things, again, I recommend if you have time, go watch my off-road review with the truck so you guys can kind of see the truck more so in action. But what I will say is it needs bigger tires for off-road use. It was kind of sketchy taking this off-road. Like, it's capable from the axle perspective and from the ground clearance perspective, but I slid, and this was on dry surfaces. I slid so much with this truck. Like, it was, I had to use, I'm pretty sure I had to use the locking rear differential. I guess turning circle wasn't so great around the snow pile there. Let's get our acceleration here. Anyways, yeah, it's so torquey. I feel like I slid quite a bit, and I'll give you guys the other gauge cluster view. I know we're going all over the place right now. There we go. And, you know, a big part of it was just the tires and the weight. Like, this is a heavy truck. And so having tires that are this small, I don't know, it doesn't really make sense in my opinion. So, Ram, if you're watching this, which you're probably not, please, just throw 35s on it. Like... I don't understand why that's not a thing from the factory. Like, the Power Wagon should have 35s from the factory. This should have 35s. And also, this shouldn't have 20-inch wheels. It should have 18-inch wheels. But regardless, the big thing is the 35s. This needs 35s from the factory, especially if it is to actually be like an off-road truck. But let me know what you guys think about the new Rebel.